clink. Oh, why not? Put him in the clink.
Welcome to this week's Wacky Moments of Leftist Extremism. Now, the media is quite upset this week that the court cases against Trump are falling apart and they're being exposed as the political election interference that they are. But of course, the media, they really want justice.
I just think if you didn't do it, why are you in the court?
Yes, Whoopi, if you're brought to court, you're automatically guilty. That's completely how it works. That's why they have courts. I mean, why even have a trial? Just jail people that you don't like.
Put him in the clink. Oh, why not? Put him in the clink.
I don't want this to sound like I'm doing wishful thinking.
Yes.
But which prison would be best?
I know which one.
I'm gonna give you, Michael. Well, that's what I got. Number one is Rikers. But I'm okay if he goes to Alcatraz and they reopen it.
Maybe.
What about Guantanamo Bay?
Yeah. Speaking of Gitmo, I think they should use this moment from The View to get information out of prisoners there. I think that was banned by The Hague, though. Cruel and inhuman, I believe. It's no surprise that the complete ignorance that dominates on The View because they were perplexed about the concept of giving Trump a fair trial before it even began.
Bill Barr was saying last night, really the system leans towards making sure he has a fair trial. Yeah. And that just blew my mind.
Well, it doesn't take much to blow the mind of View host, does it? Which is why former Biden press secretary and current MSNBC host Jen Psaki appeared on the show and defended President Biden's refusal to do press conferences. Instead, just go on The View. I mean, that's good enough.
When you're communicating from the White House, respect for freedom of speech and freedom of the press is important, but you're also really just trying to communicate with the American people.
Right.
So my view is he should come on The View before he does a press conference. Because he should.
Sure, Joe, come on down to The View. It's not like the intellect of the show could drop any lower. No press conferences, just tongue baths from friendly leftist media. That's what they want, like CNN this week.
No president's had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation. It was 9% when I came to office. 9%.
Or 1.4% when you came into office, although Joe did quickly drive it up to 9%. But CNN, they let all of Joe's lies slide. Why even question him? Just because grocery prices are high, Joe knows you got the money.
And people are spending more on food and groceries than they have at any time really in the past 30 years. That's a real day-to-day pain that people feel.
It really is, and it's real. But the fact is that if you take a look at what the people have, they have the money to spend.
Joe thinks we might have the money to pay for his high inflation. Again, there's no fact checks, just like Joe's story about his teacher being drafted by the Green Bay Packers this week.
I went to a Catholic high school in Delaware, taught by the Norbertine priest from St. Norbert's College. A little team called Green Bay. Now, here's the deal. We were the only high school in Delaware that overwhelmingly rooted for Green Bay. Not a joke, I'll tell you why. Every single Sunday. Not only did they have great teams at the time, we still do, but not only that, my theology professor at the Catholic school I went to was a guy named Riley, last name, and he had been drafted by the Green Bay Packers, and he decided to become a priest before that, so he didn't go. But every single solitary Monday that Green Bay won, we got the last period of the day off.
The thing that's really off here is Joe's story. Don't expect the leftist media to cover it, but records show the Packers have only drafted a single person with the last name Riley since the draft started. And guess what he didn't do? Teach at Joe's school, ever, yeah. Joe's stories make about as much sense as MSNBC's news coverage, where they claim that Trump trials are falling apart because he's bribing judges. You don't need any evidence. It's true because it's on MSNBC and all.
as the great Lawrence O'Donnell says, Eugene, the bribe is implied. She wants to be on the Supreme Court. She thinks she can get on if Donald Trump wins. She's going to kill this case. It's a catch and kill, as one might say,
I know, but
in the New York
Aileen
terms.
Cannon on the Supreme Court, come on. I mean, you know, I know.
It's Trump.
Amazing conclusions can be reached if you just hurdle logic and evidence with pure leaps of ignorance. And Joy always goes for the gold. It's just not always in her hair. That said, MSNBC always fields a team of powerful stupidity and propaganda. I mean, you might think a presidential election as a choice among candidates, but not MSNBC historian John Meacham. The election, he says it's up to the media. You have no choice.
And then maybe that's part of what those of us who, you know, want to make this case have to keep doing, is making sure we say it. And it may seem repetitive to the political industrial class, but that doesn't matter. I think, as Ed was saying, you know, there are normal people who are better adjusted than we are and don't worry about this all the time. But it's really, really important. And I don't think there's, again, what I would say to anyone who says, yeah, but, yeah, Trump is awful, but whatever, there is no but. It's got to be, yeah, Trump is that, and I'm going to vote against him.
I'm Eric Scheiner from MRC-TV, letting you know you do have a choice to head over to the MRC homepage and to click on that donate button to support videos that keep the leftist media in check. Also, head over to MRC-TV, catch videos, information, and entertainment from the whole team there, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe on the platforms that let you see us. We'll be back next week with another look at leftist media madness.
I want to invite you as my guest on a very special, once-in-a-lifetime, 7-day post-election cruise in the Caribbean. It's going to be a blast.